So it worked. I went from feeling anxious and unsettled and a little bit distressed, I suppose, to feeling really calm and peaceful. And I just let it go. It kind of wasn't an issue. And as I was reading, and this was around my neck, I wasn't thinking about the problem. I just let that go and just let myself be distracted for a while. But when I turned my attention back to it, it just wasn't a problem for me anymore. So that was my first experience of working with the Perfect Balance card. Um, and then I was kind of waiting for an opportunity to use it with the boys. And they seemed fine, and there was nothing really happening. They were just happily playing and getting on with their lives, I suppose. And then I think it was a couple of days later, my youngest son, Sebastian, he was just having a bit of a temper tantrum. I think he was overtired, frustrated. Um, so I went to get the card and I used the neck chain and I made it short enough so it would sit around his neck. And I asked him if I could put it over his neck, which he refused outright. There was no way he was putting it on. So I realised I probably wasn't, even though I thought it would be a good time for him because he was out of balance. He was far too annoyed and angry for me to put anything near him. So I left him with it, and he didn't go to the card. I kind of just placed it near him, and he just carried on playing. But then what I did that evening was, once he'd fallen asleep, I laid it on over his heart, just underneath his duvet cover, and then left it there until I went to bed. And when I checked back in on them again, and then I just removed it then. So I've proceeded to do that with him, and I must admit he seems a lot more calmer. He is very spirited, and I love that about him. I'm never going to try and quash that, but sometimes he does struggle with. I think because of his age, he wants to explain himself much better than he feels he can, and sometimes he feels he can't get his words out properly. So um, that seems to be a way it's working with him. Now, what I've realised since is that he'll see the card and say if he's tired or just a little bit off it, he doesn't want to wear it around his neck. He likes to hold it. So he may just come and sit down and snuggle up with his kind of comfort cloth, and he'll just hold it in his hands, and he likes to look at the colours and look at it, and he asks me about the back. He's very into designing things, so he's quite interested in the hexagrams. So that's kind of working well for him. Now, my older son, Billy, who's 5, um, a very sensitive little soul, and he sometimes, when he's had a bad time, he'll push you away even though he really needs you. And I understand why he's doing that. And sometimes I know he needs his space. Um, he'd got himself into an emotional state, probably about a week after these had arrived. Um, and when he wasn't ready to talk, he just wanted to be on his own for a while. So all I did was I kind of went into his room and I just asked him if he wanted. This was at kind of at bedtime, and we'd already said good night and done all that, but he still didn't kind of want to make friends fully. Um, so I knew he was upset about it. So when I went in, I just told him, "Do you want to hold this? And it will help you to feel calm again and peaceful, and it will help you to let it go so you feel all calm again inside your body, and so you feel relaxed." And he accepted it very openly. And he just like kind of cuddled up to it almost and laid down on his pillow and he cuddled it against his chest. Um, and it was just so interesting because times when that's happened before, it's kind of gone on further into the evening and he's then had to get out of bed because he still feels it hasn't been resolved and he can't go to sleep when there's an issue, a bit like his mum. He likes everything to be resolved and then he can finally fall asleep. And it normally takes him quite a while to fall asleep every night anyway. Um, but when I went back in and it was only after 10 minutes, he was so peaceful and I actually thought he was asleep. So I kind of just was creeping out of his bedroom and he just called me and he just said, "Mummy, thank you. I'll give you your card back now. Night night." And I just realised in that moment, I'd tried it for me and my younger son had tried it, but I think that was the time when I'd seen him so emotionally charged and unbalanced go to being so calm without having to process it or discuss it or need to talk it out. It just soothed him and it just worked. And the next day, I didn't want to disturb him then because I knew he was really sleepy, but I asked him about the card and he just said it made me feel better. So it's lovely. We've got to a point where both my boys know And because there's two in the pack, they kind of know that they've got one each, even though sometimes I use them too. Um, they know that they can just access this and it's just a tool. So to be that young and know that you can almost self-soothe with something, I just think it's amazing. So um, there's so many experiences that we've had with them. Just one more I want to share with you because I don't want to obviously go on too much. But this was a situation where I just felt as a parent just a bit irritated. I think I'd been asking over and over again. I didn't feel I was being listened to. I was just being triggered. So again, I put the card on and carried on about the duties. I think it was making, the evening meal. They were both kind of falling out and at me. And I just could feel my irritation levels building. So I just placed the card on me and just carried on. And it kind of came about that I just felt I was able to handle it better than maybe I would have done in the past, where I may have, got cross or had handled it a different way. I could just see it for what it was, and I just took myself out of the situation for a while, let myself calm and become balanced again. And then it kind of just evaporated the situation. It didn't need addressing that much. They kind of seemed to calm as I calmed. And I do think it works like that with energy. I think sometimes if you're having a battle with yourself, other people sense that and feel that, and it upsets them and upsets their balance. And that's very much what Mary talks about in the seminars. She covers lots of things about looking at your own things, looking at your own where you're unstable yourself and you've got your own issues that maybe has been passed on from your parents. It's about dissolving your experiences and moving forward so that you're not passing that on to your children. I can't do it justice in this space of time. I can't fully explain how the whole system works and how all the programming works, but take it from me, it's made a real impact for us, and I find it such a useful tool. It kind of cuts through the pain and sometimes the stuckness, so you can just calm quicker, and then you're more rational and you're able to understand everything better. So it may just look like an ordinary, lovely, colourful card, but it's much more than that. So yeah, that's why I'm calling it Mary's Mary's Magic Kit. So try it for yourself, and it'd be great to hear your reviews and see what you think. But as a parent myself with two children, anything I can access that makes us happier and more balanced and calm and more harmony in our lives is great. One more thing I just haven't talked about or realised is the balancing space card. Again, this is advised that you just put this in a room in your house. It doesn't have to be something that you're looking at. It can be laid flat on a surface, as long as it's getting a little bit of light. And it kind of has a feng shui effect in the room where you have it. Now, Mary's done studies with this in drug rehabilitation units where they've found that it has settled the energy in the room and it's made a difference with people's connection with each other. So we've had this up again at home. So all these little things are impacting, and the boys seem to be playing more harmoniously together. They're getting on better. There's less intervention needed from us to sort things out. So yeah, there's some real fantastic kits fantastic extras that come with this kit. So it's not only the advice and the seminars from Mary that help you understanding about getting it all right and the environment right for yourself and for your children. It's tools to actually help you with the how, which is sometimes the hardest part. We all know the best, well, most of us I think know that this is the ideal and this is how we'd love to be, but sometimes it just becomes a bit difficult to actually put that into practice. But with these tools to help you, it's like you've got a helping hand there. So thank you, Mary, for letting me have this first kit. I'm thrilled with it. I'm not parting company with it. A few friends have asked me if they could borrow my cards for their children. I've told them I have to go and get their own. I'm not parting with mine. So yeah, try it for yourself. And I think you'll be thrilled with the results just as I've been. Thank you.